All right, so this tutorial is going to be on basically UV mapping the model so that you can apply textures onto the model itself. So first thing, if we have any modifiers, so like if we turn this modifier off, you'll see all we have are the lines here. So we actually have to apply it because technically, or we're not turning it off, we're deleting it. You can turn it off by clicking on these, but so we need to apply this first. So we're just going to click on this. Make sure you're in object mode, meaning not in uh, the component mode. So you just hit tab, so you have just the object itself, and then click on this and hit apply, and then you'll see that the model is not a model. The other thing you have here also is the subdivision. So this is on a subdivision level 1. 1 is probably good enough. So this also probably makes sense to apply. So I'm just going to go ahead and also apply that so that we have this guy looking like this. That looks pretty good. Now, one thing that this one has in particular is kind of a problem is that it's not symmetrical. So if we were to look at the geometry, see how it's kind of offset. So yeah, we need to fix that. So we can either try to run with it as it is or try to fix it. So I'm going to try and fix it first. So with the model selected, we're going to go to object, and then I think we actually might need to go into this here, and then let's see, symmetrize. So we're going to go to mesh and then choose symmetrize. And we're going to go to here, and we are going to, let's try doing from positive X. Okay, so your character is not facing the right direction. See how it's facing X? So positive X and negative X is just flipping his butt onto the other side. So we want to go from Y to Y, right? Because it's across this. Y is the green. If you ever forget, just look up here and you'll be able to know. So let's try negative Y. Okay. Positive Y. All right, so the reason being that it's doing oddness here is because the pivot is over here for the model. So we're going to undo that real quick, and I'm going to move this pivot so it's back to being on center. So the easiest way to do that is to do this. I'm going to grab a component. So like this one's right on the center, right? Then I'm going to do Shift S, which will bring up like selection things. And what I want to do is do cursor to active. So that's going to move the 3D cursor to the active component. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to get back into object mode by hitting tab. We're going to go to object. We're going to set origin. We're going to do origin to 3D cursor. So now that, if you see a little dot there, now that is centered. So now when we go to do this, let's see, yeah. So I got to go in here, hit tab. I'm going to hit A to select all. Then we'll go to mesh, and then we're going to do symmetrize. Now you'll see symmetrize will flip based on that. And if we look, there is some issues where we have this extra little bit here. Let's try the other way. So you kind of have to look and be like, which one do you think looks better? I think this one looks better. So we're going to go with that. That'll just make it easier to work with if we do that symmetrize. Okay, so I'll click off and voila. We'll hit tab to go back in object mode. That looks better. Okay, so we basically have executed, make sure it had symmetry, even if it's not necessarily the best symmetry of all time. Like there's an n-gon here, but we're just going to live with it. All right, so next we want to do is, now that we got the model kind of cleaned up and executed, we're going to go to the UV editing section here. And what you're going to do is this. We need to basically take the model and lay out the UVs. So the idea here is that the model itself is 3-dimensional. We need to be able to lay a 2-dimensional image over top of it. And just like you have textiles on clothing, you sew it together in order to make it 3-dimensional to fit over a 3-dimensional body. We're going to basically do the same thing but in reverse. And what we're going to do is we're going to pelt this more or less. So if you've ever seen like a bearskin rug where basically they had cut the stomach, up the stomach and out the arms and then laid it out flat, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hit tab to go into object mode. We're going to hit 2 to go into edges, and then this is what we're going to do. I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to hold control, which will basically draw from one section to the next, and click, and say it'll grab those edges there. I'm just going to hold shift, click, and then let's do shift. I'm just holding shift the whole time. And then we'll hold control and click, and you can see control will go farther, shift will just do the next bit. So I'm just holding control, and I'm just going to try and get from the top, or from the head to the tail. Okay, so basically the underbelly, because this is going to leave a seam, but that's where we're least likely to see it. So we're going to go with that, and then we're going to hit U, and you're going to go here and you're going to say mark seam. Okay, now when we click off, you'll see that now there's this red line. That means that's a seam that when we do the UV unwrapping, it will attempt to do it there. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, but on the claws here. So what I'm going to do is, we're already on it. I'm going to hold Alt and click, and you're going to see that's going to grab the loop. And you can see it goes right around and up and around the arm here, which I actually don't want. So we're just going to click, 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 click. Can I control click? Yeah, we can control click. So I'm just do control click, click and drag. And we're going to go all the way. Did I undo? Okay, good. We're going to go all the way to basically here. So I'm going to go from this. We don't need that one either. From here, in around, and up and like this, okay? And then here we need to make sure it connects to the body. So I'm just going to go hold shift and click, and then we'll hit U and we'll hit mark seam, okay? So now there's a cut that goes around the hands like that, and we're just going to do the exact same thing here. I'm going to click this, click this, click this. I'm going to hold control and click, and it will draw that path. I think control is a little bit easier instead of having to unclick all the other ones. I'm just going to hold control and click, and then we'll hold control and click. So the problem with control is it tries to follow the shortest path. So we'll hold control and click. So we're still going to have to, okay, control and click, and will it make it? Yeah, good. And I'm just holding control, but you're only going to be able to go so far every time with it because it will try to go farther than it needs. So we're basically going to go from the pinky here up and around like that. And again, we'll hit U and mark seam. Okay, looks good. We're just going to do the exact same thing again for the legs. This time I'm going to hold Alt and click on it. We'll click off first because I might still have something selected over there. And I'll hit Alt, and that only went that far. And that's because right here it doesn't know which way to go. So we're going to click, I'm going to hold shift and click, and you can see it gets a little wonk right there. So we're going to click and click, and let's click and click and click and click. Oops, not that one. I'm just trying to get around and get into a path. So I'm going to hold control and click, and I want it to be the mid line. So we'll go there. I'm going to hold control and click. I'm going to hold control and click, control, and I'm just holding control so it'll follow the path. I'm just holding shift on that last one. Okay, we're going like that. Hit U, and we'll hit mark seam. Hopefully, I'm a little worried about this little area in here. Hopefully that makes sense, but we'll see. If it doesn't, we'll fix it afterwards. I'm going to click off and then hold, come on, hold Alt and click, and that will grab that section. And we're just going to do the exact same thing again. There we go. And we'll go like this, and then I guess this, and this, and this, and this, and then let's see, I guess we'll go up and around like that. I might have to make some adjustments to the feet. We'll see once we actually lay it out. So I'm just holding control and clicking, control and click, control and click, control and click like that. And then once again, we're going to hit U and we'll hit mark seam. Great. Okay. So now, oh, those aren't actually connected up here, right? So I need to follow. These aren't symmetrical either. Good job, me. Okay. Well, anyway, so it'll just be symmetrical. Usually you want to have it symmetrical, but I don't care that much. I'm going to hit Shift Z to just go into wireframe real quick. And I'm going to try and follow this path. So you can see this one kind of connects there to here and then here. And we'll just do the same thing here. So that goes to there, and not that one. This one. And then how do we get it over there? We'll say here and here. Right? Because it needs to be connected so that it can cut across. And then we'll hit U and we'll mark seam. Okay. So that should work. I'm gonna hit Shift Z to bring back just flat shaded. And now what we're gonna do is you're gonna hit A to select everything. And then we're gonna hit U, and then you're gonna see unwrap. Now yours might just say unwrap if you have a newer or an older version of Blender. If you have the newer version, it'll give you some different options. Just choose minimal stretch. And you should end up with something that looks like this. So notice it kind of looks like a pelted fur rug, right? That's basically what we're after. So you can see that's the way it is. Now, if for some reason something's connected, so watch, I'm gonna do it here just so you get an idea. So I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna hit U, and we're gonna clear scene. Okay, watch. See how that's not connected? Watch what's gonna happen now when I go to do the unwrap. I'll hit U, and we'll do unwrap. It's gonna look like this. So basically, if something is connected, it's not allowing this to uncut from everything else, you're going to end up with it not looking correct because it's trying to pull itself apart, but it can't because it's still connected right here. So all of it is not apart. So I just need to make sure. So you might need to go through and just cut more and more. So we'll mark scene, hit A again, I'll hit U, and we'll hit unwrap, and we'll do minimal stretch. Now, if for some reason you're doing it and nothing you're doing is looking good, like it's really bad, like it doesn't make any sense at all, what you can do is you can do A, hit U, and then you can do unwrap, and you can choose smart UV project. And what it's going to do is it's going to cut the character into a whole bunch of pieces. I'll show you actually. It's going to cut it like, it'll give you some options, and it's going to cut it like this. The problem is this will work, but what you're going to notice is it's going to end up in a bunch of scenes, okay? But if you're really stuck, you can do that. I don't generally suggest it. What we had before, this is better. But if for some reason it absolutely will not work, I had some people do that in class because theirs was just being funky. That's the other option, okay? So that's how you UV it, and this will prepare it so that we can then basically apply a 2D image. So see how this is residing in this 1x1 UV space? That will allow us to paint it in the next video.